Tonight, John Ankerberg presents What Goes On Behind the Closed Doors of the Masonic Lodge. In our prior program, a 32nd degree Mason met with a Christian scholar to find out whether or not Christianity and the Masonic Lodge were compatible. In that program, our Masonic guest said the ritual was the authoritative source for all Masons. But what is the ritual for the first 3 degrees of Masonry? What does it teach? Tonight, you will find out. Mr. Jack Harris, a former worshipful master from the state of Maryland, will reenact small parts of the ritual from the first 3 degrees and explain what he taught in the lodge. In Program 1, you will be introduced to the primary symbols in all Masonic lodges and watch how a candidate is received upon his being initiated into the entered apprentice degree of Masonry. In Program 2, the former worshipful master will explain to us the meaning of the 3 great lights and 3 lesser lights of Masonry. In Program 3, what is the significance of the working tools of Masonry? What is the meaning of the white apron and the rough ashlar and the perfect ashlar? In Program 4, how binding is the obligation taken by any candidate initiated into the first 3 degrees of Masonry? In Program 5, you will see the actual ceremony used at a Masonic funeral. In Program 6, both sides will comment on whether Masonry is a religion, whether or not it promises eternal life in the celestial lodge above, what a Mason must do in this life, and whether Masonry holds the Bible's teachings to be authoritative. In preparation for this program, letters were sent to the Grand Lodges in all 50 states asking them which Masonic authors and books they would recommend as the most authoritative commentaries concerning the teachings of Masonry. We will report to you what they said. Then we will compare the commentary of their recommended authors with some of the teachings of biblical Christianity to answer the question, is Christianity compatible with the teachings of the Masonic Lodge? Please stay tuned.
Welcome to the John Ankerberg Show. Tonight, we begin a follow-up program to a previous series that we did entitled Christianity and the Masonic Lodge, Are They Compatible? We received quite a bit of response from that program. And tonight we want to continue. As our custom is, we allow the other side to present their own position. So tonight and in the weeks to come, you will hear excerpts from our previous program with our guest, Mr. Bill Mankin, a 32nd degree Mason. You'll hear additional information from a former worshipful master of the lodge. But to set the setting tonight, let's go back to the previous series where I asked 2 questions of Mr. Bill Mankin concerning the Masonic Lodge. First, is Masonry a religion? Please listen to what he said. There are many good things with the lodge in terms of what Walter just mentioned, the hospitals and so on, the different functions, the charities, and I think that there's no argument on that. We never argue with people on things that are right, but the discussion comes around. Let me see if I can frame it for you. And that is that it's not a religion.
More than that, it's not a religion. It offers no system of salvation. And I'm going to have to read from this certain point because this is very, very important and something that you should realize because we have none of the marks of a religion.
Okay, let her go.
Right. We have no creed, no confession of faith in a doctrinal statement. We have no theology. We have no ritual of worship. We have no symbols that are religious in the sense of symbols found in a church or a synagogue. Our symbols are related to the development of character of the relationship of man to man. They are working tools to be used in the building of life. Okay. These working tools have been used from time immemorial to build buildings. Okay. And all we are saying is that if you as an individual adopt the principles represented, and we'll get into some of that symbolism later on, that you will be a better person, not that you're going to go to heaven.
The second question, if anyone is going to investigate the teachings of the Masonic Lodge, who or what is the authority that we should listen to? Again, please listen to what he said.
The authoritative source for Masonry is the ritual. The ritual, what happens in the lodge, what goes on.
All right, so there are some basic things then that are universal to Masonry.
Yes.
And that you would agree with and that all Masons would agree with.
Yes.
Okay, now we have established that there is a basic foundation upon which all Masonry rests, all right?
Mm-hmm. Tonight, I thought that you might like to see what goes on behind closed doors in a Masonic Lodge room. And we're actually going to recreate for you some of the ceremony, the ritual, in the Blue Lodge, the first 3 degrees of Masonry. Why? Well, you just heard Mr. Bill Mencken, a 32nd degree Mason, explain to you that he thought that Masonry cannot be considered a religion. Why? Because it has no creed, it has no theology, it has no plan of salvation. But he did say the way that you find out, the way you measure that, is by looking at the ritual. And tonight, if that's the authoritative source, I thought that I would like to show you the ritual, let you decide for yourself. Now, we needed to have somebody that was knowledgeable, somebody that would be considered knowledgeable by Masons across the country. Who could be more knowledgeable than a worshipful master of the lodge? And tonight we actually have a former worshipful master, a man who led over 600 men in his lodge in Maryland, who initiated many of those men into the lodge. And he's going to explain what is in the typical Blue Lodge hall, and we are going to then ask him to give us certain parts of the ritual. It'll be exactly word for word those parts that we duplicate. But we're not going to give you all of the ritual. That would take about 5 hours. But the parts that we give to you, you will find are word for word what is in most of the lodges across the country. Our guest tonight is Mr. Jack Harris. And Jack, I would like for you to explain to us what we see here. What is the big G above this chair, and what is that chair, and what are these other chairs?
John, first of all, the chair of the worshipful master is situated in the east. It is the place of authority in the Masonic Blue Lodge. Over top of the chair is a letter G, found in every lodge within the United States.
Okay, what are these chairs down here?
Okay, on the left we have the chair of the chaplain. Every lodge must be open and closed with prayer. And in a great many of your lodges throughout the United States, the chaplain is an ordained minister. To the right of the master is the chair of the senior deacon. The senior deacon is in charge of conducting all candidates through their initiation of the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry.
All right, what are these candles here, Jack?
These candles represent the sun, the moon, and the master of the lodge. As we come down through the center of the lodge, and this is significant because this altar is exactly in center of every Masonic lodge within the United States. Resting on top is the Holy Bible, the square, and the compasses.
All right, you're going to tell us more about why you have these things there and what they mean in Masonry.
And we were going to do that on a later ritual, right?
All right. Why do we have the color blue here?
The color blue, according to most Masonic authorities, is used in the Blue Lodge, 1st and 2nd and 3rd degree, because it is a symbol of fidelity.
All right, Jack, tell us, what is the south wall all about in the Masonic Lodge room?
Okay, the south wall is the principal place where the junior warden of the lodge sits.
Okay.
To his right and to his left are the chairs of the junior and senior stewards of the Masonic Lodge.
All right, you're going to tell us why you have, and you call it the south wall, and then you've got the west wall over here.
That's correct.
A little later as we go along, and the people will see how these chairs are used.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, describe what do we have over here on the west wall.
Okay, the small chair on the left is a chair of the junior deacon, who's in charge of admission of all candidates and also the guest of the lodge.
All right, what's this chair?
The chair in the center is the chair of the senior warden of the lodge, who's second in command to the worshipful master of the lodge.
Okay, Jack, what about this other door on the west wall? What's this all about?
This door is for the candidate to come through. It's called the anteroom door. It's the door behind which the candidate is prepared for initiation. Behind this door, we have a candidate which is prepared for initiation in the 1st degree of Freemasonry. We will explain to you at a later time exactly why he is dressed the way he is.
Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually begin the 1st degree of Masonry and take you through, again, some of the key parts in the actual ritual as it happens in the Blue Lodge.
Tonight we're going to